My name's Matt Croasmun. I'm the author of Let Me Ask You a Question, Conversations with Jesus. This book grew out of a sermon series that we did a couple years back at our church. We were just using the questions that Jesus asks in the Gospels as a way of providing an opportunity to enter into our own conversations with Jesus. The core of this was this set of prayer journaling exercises. Basically just a short passage with a short reflection highlighting the question that Jesus asks in that passage, with room on a facing page to continue the conversation on our own and dialogue with Jesus using that question as a jumping off point. These little prayer journals became a hot item in our church. We could hardly print enough of them. People were grabbing extras. Members of the church were grabbing extras to share with their friends. People who would never go to church, would certainly never read a Christian book, but were intrigued by this opportunity to connect with Jesus, not as somebody who has all the answers, but as someone who's asking them honest, sort of urgent questions for them to dialogue with. All of a sudden, people who had never set foot in a church were encountering Jesus in the questions that he asks. And so Let Me Ask You a Question is an invitation to a dialogue with Jesus, an invitation to come and encounter Jesus in a back and forth interaction, to engage with Jesus even if only as an experiment. And maybe that's the only way that some of us can come and think that we can have a conversation with Jesus. But to, in that experiment, see whether Jesus is in fact real and at work in the world. And extending that invitation again and again throughout the book are these 6 chapters in which I explain some of my own interactions with Jesus through the questions that he asks, alongside members of our church and students in my classrooms. My hope is that this book will inspire people, from longtime Christians to first-time seekers, to encounter Jesus. The passages that are taken up provide a good introduction, actually, to the life of Jesus if you're not all that familiar with Jesus. Week 5 even walks through Holy Week, the story of Jesus' death and resurrection. Use this material in small groups, of course, with a sermon series, and just one-on-one conversations with sort of spiritually interested folks, with students, with young adults, with retirees. I'm really excited to see what this book will do when it lands in people's hands, and excited to see the conversations that we all end up having with Jesus.